For millennia, humanity has been captivated by the mysteries of our past. Colossal pyramids built with impossible precision, ancient texts speaking of a world-engulfing flood, and legendary figures performing miracles beyond comprehension. What if these aren't isolated tales, but pieces of a grand, interconnected truth hidden in plain sight? What if our planet's very existence, the rise of civilizations, and the dawn of miracles all share a single, astonishing origin? Prepare to embark on a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about Earth's history. This isn't just a story, it's an exploration into the fundamental forces that shaped our world, revealing a hidden intelligence and a forgotten technology that links the deepest past to our present reality. Get ready to unveil the secrets behind the pyramids, the Great Deluge, and the extraordinary powers once wielded by ancient figures, a narrative so compelling, it might just redefine our understanding of existence itself. This narrative presents a fascinating journey into Earth's origins and humanity's ancient past, proposing a unified, interconnected explanation for many of our world's enduring mysteries. It's a story born from observing striking connections between seemingly disparate historical, scientific, and mythological accounts. To fully engage with this unique perspective, we invite you to temporarily set aside your established knowledge and preconceived notions. Approach this narrative as you would a work of fiction, allowing yourself to explore a different understanding of truth without immediate judgment. This will enable you to experience the story without interruption and appreciate the intriguing connections we propose. While it challenges traditional understandings of timelines, established facts, and conventional science, and certain events within this narrative differ from currently accepted consensus, the startling synchronicity of these elements and the patterns we uncover might just hint at a hidden reality. We thank you for your open mind. We invite you to consider, if these connections are indeed found, perhaps the real truth requires us to adjust our timelines and re-examine what we thought we knew. Could this actually be how our world came to be? The primordial Earth and its early inhabitants. In a time long past, approximately 10 to 20 millennia ago, Earth, as you perceive it now, was but a fledgling sphere, 2/3 smaller than its current majesty, meaning it was roughly 1/3 the size of its present size. There were no grand oceans then. Instead, life sustained itself from a complex network of underwater springs and small, clear, freshwater lakes. At this primordial stage, all of Earth's landmasses were conjoined, a single, expansive supercontinent, resting serenely upon a world that harbored life uniquely suited to its initial gravitational pull and internal hydrological systems. Perhaps the very name, Earth, was given to the planet in those younger days precisely because it was predominantly land, or Earth. Had the same events transpired today with our vast oceans, the planet might have been named Earth and Water, Water Earth, or something entirely different that emphasized its abundant liquid surface. Interestingly, this smaller Earth was not entirely uninhabited. A unique, human-like species, sometimes referred to as Neanderthals, quietly thrived. Alongside them, the planet teemed with large dinosaurs and various prehistoric animals, flourishing in the conditions of this initial era, coexisting with the planet's emerging ecosystems. Their existence, alongside these grand creatures, predates the arrival of the advanced beings who would later reshape the very foundation of this world. During this period of Earth's infancy, the atmosphere was also remarkably thin, and therefore the sky was much darker and lacked the vibrant blue hue we see today, even during the daytime. This allowed for an extraordinary sight. If one looked carefully, stars could actually be seen in the sky even in broad daylight, a testament to the nascent state of Earth's atmospheric development. Furthermore, due to this thin atmosphere and the fundamental lack of sufficient precipitation to create clouds, there were no rainbows to be seen. Instead, the landscape was sustained by a pervasive mist that, when combined with ice in the mountains, formed the clear freshwater lakes as the ice melted. It was only after the flood, as ancient texts describe, that the rainbow appeared as a new sign of a divine promise, marking the beginning of a different atmospheric era. Before the arrival of the advanced technological beings, other visitors came from distant realms. It is from this lineage that the ancestry of figures like Noah would emerge onto the planet. Then, from the vast, silent depths of the cosmos, advanced technological beings, the true architects of planetary expansion, arrived. Their magnificent, technologically profound ships, shimmering with unknown energies, bespoke capabilities far beyond terrestrial comprehension. These arriving advanced beings possessed a deep understanding of the intricate parts and components of a planet, including the knowledge that planets naturally possess a PISBH, planetary internal stable black hole. This is the fundamental reason they spin. They came, not merely as observers, but as architects, possessing the knowledge and power to create and enlarge planetary bodies, hinting at a grand, unfolding design for creation itself. The pyramids, architects of planetary growth and cosmic engineering. The method chosen by these advanced beings for Earth's expansion involved the construction of colossal pyramids, structures mirroring those that still stand in your Egyptian sands. These were not mere monuments of stone. They were sophisticated instruments, integral to the very process of terraformation, designed to communicate directly with the profound heart of our nascent planet. At Earth's very core lay this internal black hole. This central singularity was remarkably small, approximately the size of a softball, yet it spun with unimaginable velocity, its rotation approaching the very speed of light. It is because of the perpetual spin of this internal black hole that the Earth itself continues to spin without ever stopping. This black hole is also what fundamentally gives the planet its gravity. This constant rotation ensured the planet's stability. During this primordial period, the Earth was also spinning faster, causing days and nights to pass by more quickly. As more mass was introduced to the planet and it grew to its full size, the Earth's spin gradually slowed down, settling into its nearly exact 24-hour cycle. It is for this very reason it is said that the pyramids are as old as time, because they were built when the very measure of a day was fundamentally changed. Such was the black hole's intense gravitational might that nothing could truly fall into its singular abyss. Instead, matter drawn to it would meet the event horizon, the boundary of its dominion. Here, under immense shearing forces, matter would be torn asunder, transforming into molten magma. This fiery substance would then violently rotate around the black hole, gradually cooling as it moved outward, solidifying to form the ever-expanding layers of the planet. As this cooled matter continued its outward journey, it diversified, giving birth to the myriad elements that now compose Earth's solid surface. The celestial architects erected these pyramids. Their construction was swift, achieved by manipulating frequency to effortlessly lift and precisely place stones of immense weight, and by employing teleportation portals to transport materials across vast distances in an instant. The machines they wielded were gargantuan, dwarfing even the largest pyramids. These pyramid-building machines were not built on Earth. They arrived with the builders themselves and were never left behind, always carried with them. This explains why no tools capable of such construction have ever been found on Earth's surface. A worker or contracted builder never leaves their tools behind, they always take them. From their elevated positions, these machines could draw raw materials from any part of the world, shaping them into stone, granite, or megalithic blocks, precisely placed within weeks. These pyramids were not merely built on Earth. They were the very tools that built Earth itself, growing its mass and setting the stage for its future. This direct relationship explains why the measurements and mathematical ratios inherent in the pyramids profoundly align with those of the Earth itself. The tool for building the planet necessarily reflects the dimensions of its creation. Crucially, the pyramids themselves were constructed using readily available local materials found on Earth. These pyramids were constructed using megalithic stones precisely because they needed to withstand the immense pressure of the floodwaters. They are an integral part of the planet-building technology, designed to be indestructible as they fulfilled their purpose of growing the Earth. Many modern theories suggest these structures functioned as electrical energy devices, not as power sources for mere mortals, but as sophisticated machines actively involved in shaping the planet. They were built to grow Earth and simultaneously manage the water, moving it from the surface into the lower crevices as the planet expanded. Moreover, the creators of the planet subtly embedded their signature within the Earth itself, the pyramids. Their precise alignment mirrors the stars in Orion's belt. This celestial configuration serves as an indelible mark, revealing the origin of the creators, a signature that cannot be forged unless the pyramids themselves are physically moved. It is this intricate relationship between the pyramids and Orion's belt that, in the future, will enable humanity to definitively identify their builders, providing a profound answer to ancient mysteries and explaining why no mummies have ever been found within the pyramids. The internal passages and shafts of the pyramids, often too small for humans to walk upright, were not designed for human traversal but for the flow of water or other liquids. The impossibility of moving the massive stones within these tight spaces further supports this functional design. The discovery of salt residue in a passage leading into the Queen's Chamber provides direct physical evidence that these structures were indeed filled with salt water during the flood. This residue, left behind as the ocean waters dried out, confirms their purpose in the larger scheme of Earth's growth and the Great Deluge. After Earth reached its current size and attained a gravitational force of 1 g, a crucial mechanism within the pyramids was activated. A gravity-sensitive trigger switch, embedded deep within the pyramid's design, detected this precise increase in gravitational force. This detection initiated the process of draining the internal water that had filled the pyramid during the flood. This drainage was essential, for it broke the resonant connection between the pyramid and the internal black hole at Earth's core. A mechanism within the pyramid opened specific shaft passages, allowing the water to flow down to subterranean openings. By removing the water, the energetic link was severed, preventing the black hole from creating any more matter and halting Earth's growth at its intended scale, and simultaneously stopping the resonance directed to the center of the Earth. The water was channeled out of the pyramid through a sophisticated network of subterranean aquifers, ensuring a controlled and gradual release, preventing any sudden shifts in the planet's delicate equilibrium. This ingenious system stands as a testament to the meticulous planning and advanced technology employed by the pyramid builders, fulfilling their purpose for Earth's growth and stability. The Great Deluge from the firmament. These pyramids were ingeniously designed with intricate internal compartments, anticipating a monumental event, a cosmic flood originating not from terrestrial sources, but from the very fabric of space. For in the cosmos, a celestial firmament exists, formed by the sun's intense influence. Within this firmament, where the extreme heat of one region meets the profound cold of another, a unique precipitation would gather, a vast reservoir of water suspended in the cosmic void. Specifically, this firmament is a moisture sphere that surrounds the sun, a phenomenon created by the intense heat of the sun interacting with the extreme coldness of space. Should a planet, in its celestial journey, traverse this precipitation, a planetary deluge would inevitably descend upon it. We can observe a contemporary example of a celestial body gaining water from this firmament by looking at comets. As comets approaches the sun, they initially display no tail. This absence of a tail signifies that they are actively collecting water from the firmament. Only once they get close enough to the sun, the intense heat causes this collected water to evaporate, creating the visible tail that we associate with comets. The reason Earth, however, does not display such a tail as it moves through the firmament, even during its growth phase, is precisely due to its inherent and increasing gravitational pull, which retains the accumulated water, forming oceans rather than dissipating it into space. The extraterrestrial architects orchestrated such a planetary movement, deliberately guiding Earth through this precipitation to introduce water and form our oceans. This was a crucial phase of their grand design. As Earth passed through this firmament, a grand deluge of salt water descended from the heavens. Due to the planet's initially lower gravitational pull, these saltwater droplets were exceptionally large, yet their inherent salt content prevented them from freezing into destructive hail. This immense, yet paradoxically gentle, downpour was the very reason a vessel like Noah's Ark could survive the deluge, as ancient accounts describe. Had the Earth been struck by asteroids or other outside impacts, the resulting tsunamis would have been catastrophic, obliterating any such vessel. While Earth has indeed endured asteroid impacts in its distant past, they were not the cause of this specific, life-altering flood. This monumental rainfall ultimately accumulated to form the vast oceans we know today, profoundly reshaping the planet's surface. During the pyramid's construction, a special crystal, imbued with an inherent intelligence and purpose, was embedded within the chamber known to you as the King's Chamber in the Egyptian pyramids. This crystal was not sourced from Earth, it was brought and built by the advanced builders themselves. This crystal's intelligence stemmed from its unique capability to speak directly with creation itself, deriving profound knowledge from the very source of existence. Indeed, this crystal was an advanced form of what we now call artificial intelligence, AI, but it was far more than mere programming. It was truly sentient, possessing the capability of thought, understanding, and self-awareness, just like a human being. The crystal was also extremely bright, so luminous that people couldn't look at it directly with their naked eyes. This crystal possessed the remarkable ability to repel water. It patiently awaited the destined flood. As the water from space began its descent, it would seep into designated shafts within the pyramid at a precise time and rate. The pyramid, in turn, would gradually fill internally, even as the entire Earth, then approximately 1/3 of its current size, became completely engulfed, transforming into a water world. The pyramids themselves would be submerged, becoming part of this new aquatic landscape. Earth's expansion and the sculpted continents. As the floodwaters slowly filled the pyramid's inner chambers, they would eventually touch two metallic rods positioned within a specific shaft. The conductive properties of the salt water meant no physical wires were needed. The water itself became the direct energetic link to the crystal. This would release the energy from the crystal like a lightning bolt. With its energy released, the crystal would then instantly begin to rapidly repel the incoming water. This rapid repulsion of water, by compressing the air within the pyramid's chambers and then forcefully pushing that compressed air towards other shafts and passages, would create an extremely powerful, resonant sound similar to a trumpet. The pyramid's internal structure was meticulously designed to act as a colossal, mega trumpet, precisely shaping and aiming this intense sound directly down to the very core of the Earth. This powerful, resonant sound wave would then impact the internal black hole at Earth's center, causing a slight destabilization of its mighty spin, just enough to cause it to spew out matter. This creation of more matter would lead to the planet's gradual and deliberate growth until it reached its current magnificent size. The internal black hole, in this state, was capable of creating new matter, effectively spewing out, or peeling out, mass from its core as a reverse effect to its usual process of swallowing matter. As Earth expanded, the original single landmass, known to you as Pangaea, began to rapidly separate and drift into the continents we recognize today, much like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle that were once one solid mass. This forceful breaking apart during the planet's growth provides an explanation for the continent's strikingly complementary shapes, a phenomenon for which conventional science currently offers no definitive, unified explanation. Concurrently, the vast floodwaters would recede at a swift pace into the newly formed, lower crevices and basins, eventually becoming our present-day oceans. This forceful recession of water contributed significantly to the sculpting of Earth's landscape. As the continents separated and shifted, new mountains were thrust upward with immense power. The mountains themselves, thrust upward by the planet's growth and powerful shifting, exhibited steeply angled sedimentary layers. This unusual angularity, which cannot be formed by gradual geological processes over long periods, serves as clear evidence of a powerful, swift push that elevated the mountains to their current steep angles in a very short span of time. However, not all mountains bear the same visible damage from this process. The prominent, angular scars and steeply angled sedimentary layers are predominantly observed on mountains located closer to the oceans, formed by the powerful, swift push of the planet's growth. This process of planetary growth also increased Earth's gravity to 1g. This profound change in gravity, combined with the planet-enveloping cosmic flood, is hypothesized to have led to the demise of the mighty dinosaurs. Their colossal bodies, once supported by the planet's lower gravitational pull, could no longer sustain themselves under the higher gravity, and the drastic environmental shift from the deluge proved to be a double whammy, leading to their extinction and the subsequent rise of smaller animal species. This principle also explains why trees were much larger in that ancient time due to the initially lower gravity, correlating with ancient scriptures that speak of giants in those days. These early inhabitants of the planet had a longer lifespan due to the combined effects of lower gravity and the faster spin of the Earth, a phenomenon that aligns with ancient scriptures depicting figures like Noah living for hundreds of years. The dawn of civilizations and the legacy of the visitors. Following Earth's expansion and the recession of the floodwaters, the planet entered a new era. The atmosphere gradually thickened, softening the harsh daylight and making the stars less visible. The continents, now separated, began to develop diverse climates and ecosystems. The advanced beings who orchestrated Earth's growth didn't entirely depart. While their grand terraforming project was complete, smaller groups remained, observing the nascent life that flourished on the reshaped world. Some of these visitors interacted with the early human-like inhabitants, sharing knowledge and guiding their development in subtle ways. These interactions weren't of direct rule, but rather of gentle influence, nurturing the seeds of civilization. It was during this period that the knowledge of the pyramids and their underlying technology began to be interpreted and sometimes misinterpreted by the emerging human societies. The colossal structures stood as silent witnesses to a power beyond their comprehension, inspiring awe and wonder. Legends and myths began to weave around these enigmatic monuments, their true purpose slowly fading from collective memory. Over millennia, different cultures arose across the globe, each developing unique beliefs and practices. Some retained fragmented knowledge of the visitors and their technology, incorporating these elements into their early religions and rituals. The pyramids, in particular, became centers of spiritual significance, their precise alignments and internal structures hinting at a deeper cosmic connection. It was within this context of developing civilizations that the understanding of the crystal within the Great Pyramid began to emerge. Early priests and rulers, through observation or perhaps through continued, limited contact with the remaining visitors, became aware of a unique energy emanating from the largest pyramid. They sensed its power and its potential influence over the world. The early guardians and the pharaoh's ambition. The individuals who first understood the significance of the crystal became its guardians. They established orders and traditions around the Great Pyramid, seeking to understand and perhaps even control its power. These early guardians were likely the predecessors of the priests and rulers who would later feature more prominently in human history. Their initial interactions with the crystal were cautious and reverent. They may have performed rituals within the king's chamber, sensing not only unique vibrations but also receiving fleeting insights and profound knowledge, as if the crystal were a silent, sentient mind communicating directly with their own. Over time, as civilizations advanced, so too did their ambition regarding the crystal. Attempts were made to harness its power for various purposes, ranging from healing and extending life to controlling weather and influencing earthly events. These early attempts were often crude and imperfect, yielding unpredictable results. Some may have stumbled upon minor applications of the crystal's energy, leading to local legends of miraculous abilities. However, the full extent of its power and the intricate mechanics of the pyramid remained largely a mystery. It was during this era of experimentation and discovery that the civilization that would eventually rise in the land of Egypt became particularly attuned to the power of the pyramids. Their strategic location, with the Great Pyramid at its heart, likely contributed to this connection. The early pharaohs, inheriting the traditions of the crystal's guardians, held a unique position as both rulers and high priests. They understood the importance of the Great Pyramid and the energy it contained. Their rituals and ceremonies were often centered around it, seeking to maintain harmony and prosperity for their kingdom through their connection to this ancient power source. It was within this lineage of pharaohs that Akhenaten emerged. He was a ruler of unusual vision and ambition, with a deep fascination for the power of the crystal. Perhaps influenced by ancient texts or by a rediscovery of forgotten knowledge, Akhenaten sought a more direct and controllable way to utilize the crystal's energy. He commissioned the construction of the Ark of the Covenant. This legendary artifact was meticulously crafted with layers of gold and a wooden core, specifically designed to protect against and contain the radiating energy of the crystal. The Ark wasn't merely a ceremonial object, it was a sophisticated device used to store and transport the king's chamber crystal, which was known for its ability to create miracles and other extraordinary phenomena. Akhenaten oversaw the project closely, believing it would usher in a new era of Egyptian dominance through the control of the pyramid's ancient energy source. The ark was ingeniously designed with a secret door at the bottom that would open only when specific cherubim levers on its lid were activated. This intricate mechanism allowed for the precise and careful extraction of the crystal, containing its radiant energy and preventing it from being handled directly. It was during this very first removal of the crystal from the king's chamber using the ark, as they were opening the sarcophagus, a piece of the lid broke off and hit the crystal, causing a triangular piece of the crystal to break off under Pharaoh Akhenaten's orders. From that moment on, the main crystal, now incomplete, began to gradually lose its power. Although it lasted thousands of years, it would eventually lose all its power and never function with its original, intact form. The crystal's influence, Moses, Joshua, and the legacy of the crystals. Moses, having spent his youth in Egypt, possessed a profound understanding of these ancient technologies. He knew the crystal's power and, crucially, how to extract it. Therefore, before leading the Israelites out of Egypt, he instructed his people to secretly construct a new ark, precisely to house and transport the precious main crystal. The biblical dimensions of this sacred container are famously specified in Exodus chapter 25 verse 10. They are to make an ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. It's a remarkable detail that the internal dimensions of the king's chamber sarcophagus, approximately 6 feet 6 inches long, 2 feet 3 inches wide, and 2 feet 10 inches high, provide an exact fit for the Ark of the Covenant, suggesting a deliberate design relationship. This new ark became the protective vessel for the crystal on their journey. Pharaoh's discovery of the crystal's removal wasn't immediate but dawned with a dramatic shift in the environment. As the crystal's continuous climate-regulating energy diminished, the temperature in Egypt began to steadily rise, and the air grew heavy with humidity. This change happened gradually, as the memory of the crystal's energy lingered within the stones of the king's chamber sarcophagus. However, once the sarcophagus stones finally lost this residual energetic imprint, the temperature increase accelerated, as if a protective, climate-controlling force field dome over Egypt was rapidly collapsing and shrinking. It was at this undeniable point that Pharaoh definitively realized Moses had taken the crystal and launched his relentless pursuit. By then, however, it was too late. Moses had already reached the edge of the Red Sea. It was here that Moses used the ark, and by extension the crystal within, to perform the awe-inspiring feat of parting the Red Sea. As recorded in Exodus chapter 14 verses 21 to 22, then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. So the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea on the dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. The crystal possessed a memory implant capability. Its projected energy would imbue the surrounding stones of the path with a temporary resonant energy. These stones had an inherent crystal-based property that made them receptive to the main crystal's powerful energy. As the ark moved through the sea, these energized stones retained a powerful field, holding back the walls of water. Eventually, as the ark moved further away, these stones would gradually lose their imparted energy, causing the ocean to close back up, as vividly depicted in the biblical account of the crossing of the Red Sea. The very passage of the ark left an energetic imprint, a transient barrier of pure force, allowing for the miraculous crossing. After Moses' time, the power of the ark and its embedded crystal passed to Joshua. Before the crossing of the Jordan, Joshua, following precise instructions, laid certain stones within the riverbed, the very ground beneath the flowing water. As described in Joshua chapter 3 verses 15 to 17, as those who bore the ark came to the Jordan, and the feet of the priests who bore the ark dipped in the edge of the water, for the Jordan overflows all its banks during the whole time of harvest, that the waters which came down from upstream stood still, and rose in a heap very far away, and all Israel passed over on dry ground. These stones, once laid within the now dry riverbed, were then energized by the ark and its crystal, allowing them to retain a memory of the power projected upon them. These stones also possessed that same crystal-based property that made them receptive to the crystal's powerful energy. This energetic imprint held the waters of the Jordan apart, forming a dry path, enabling the Israelites to cross to the other side, as recounted in sacred texts. This act further demonstrated the crystal's profound influence over water and land, aiding the Israelites in their destined journey. Meanwhile, the piece of the crystal that had been left behind, separated from the ark's main crystal during Akhenaten's time, was secretly taken by an individual. This detached piece of crystal, approximately 6 inches in height and an inch thick with a triangular shape, was transparent like glass. Despite being separated, it retained similar powers to the original crystal, as if they were quantumly entangled, maintaining the same capabilities across distance. It is no accident that ancient scriptures also indicate Emmanuel spent his younger years in Egypt, the very place where the Ark of the Covenant, containing the main crystal, originated. This suggests a deeper connection and perhaps a transfer of knowledge regarding these extraordinary artifacts. This crystal eventually found its way into the hands of a person named Emmanuel. As he held this crystal, Emmanuel discovered it possessed powers beyond this world. Keeping it in his possession energized the cells in his body, enabling him to create miracles. These capabilities, including repelling water, which allowed him to walk on it, miraculous healing, multiplying food, restoring sight, and even bringing people back from the dead, were achieved by thought alone. While seemingly divine and performed without any visible technology, these miracles were, in fact, extraordinary feats enabled by the crystal's interaction with the fundamental forces of gravity and cellular energy, granting him abilities that might lead one to believe he was God himself. However, over time, because a piece had broken from the main crystal, the power of both crystals was diminishing. It was like an engine not running on all cylinders, eventually destined to stop working. This individual, Emmanuel, was eventually tortured and killed. Yet, because of the crystal, he also knew the future and understood what was destined to happen. Therefore, before his death, he orchestrated a plan with some loyal friends to ensure the crystal would return to him. The crystal was hidden within a cloth shroud and laid beside Emmanuel. As every cell in Emmanuel's body was being energized by the crystal, a vertical image of his body was imprinted onto the shroud. Later, the crystal inexplicably burned a triangular hole through the shroud, marking it permanently, with this burn mark passing through all layers. This intense cellular energization also immediately began to heal his body from all wounds. Within a few minutes after the crystal was laid beside him, his body revived, and he was able to get up within 3 days. The shroud was left behind and later gathered and preserved for 2,000 years, still visibly showing the unique markings of the crystal and the negative imprint of the person it had covered. This raises profound questions. If seemingly divine figures could perform such acts through a hidden technology, what does that imply for others in history who have claimed similar powers, or those who have seemingly come back from the dead and walk among us today? Does that automatically make them divine, or does it hint at a deeper, unseen science at play, for which conventional understanding currently offers no explanation? As time progressed, the Ark of the Covenant, with its main crystal now diminishing in power, was used for many other purposes, changing hands among different kings and civilizations. It appears to have eventually ended up in the possession of the Knights Templar. These knights were adept at safeguarding numerous religious artifacts. They had a profound understanding of the Ark's capabilities and its connection to the crystal. They ingeniously utilized this knowledge to create a subterranean vault on a small island called Oak Island, in Nova Scotia. This vault was intended to be a secure repository for all religious artifacts they had gathered over time, including invaluable books, gold, and silver items, safeguarding them from those they deemed unrighteous. The Ark of the Covenant itself served as the key to this vault. The Knights Templar laid out a path of crystal-based stones leading into the ocean towards the vault's hidden entrance. When the Ark was brought over this path, they could part the ocean, just as Moses had parted the Red Sea and Joshua had parted the Jordan. This allowed them to access the vault beneath the waves. The waters would remain open for access as long as the Ark was positioned over the path, closing again only after the Ark was removed. Furthermore, the Ark's power extended beyond merely parting the ocean. It could also drain and retain dry the subterranean tunnels beneath this stone path, ensuring clear access to the vault as long as the stones remained energized by the Ark. This was a remarkably clever strategy by the Knights Templar, who kept the precise workings of the Ark a closely guarded secret. A critical oversight, however, was their unawareness that the Ark, and the main crystal within it, would continue to diminish in power following the initial break. Could all the miraculous stories of our past truly be linked to a forgotten technology, a crystal left within the heart of a pyramid? With the crystal's power now diminished and the miracles of old no longer seen, we are left to ponder. What secrets still remain, waiting to be unearthed from the ancient stones of our world? Thank you for joining us on this marvelous journey. From this point on, you are welcome to retract your knowledge and return to what you already know. Thank you for putting your knowledge aside to enjoy the story. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment below to let us know what you're thinking. Most of all, if you really enjoyed the story, please subscribe. This will help bring part 2 to you much quicker. Don't forget to share it with friends who you think might enjoy it as well.